Welcome back to Terra and Urban Myths. Tonight we're going to be cracking open a story called The Door That Should Never Have Been Opened.
Okay.
You know, the drill lights down low and hold on tight because things are about to get eerie.
All right.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you enjoyed tonight's episode.
Well, there's something about a forbidden door, isn't there?
Right.
It's like a magnet for trouble.
Yeah.
This story really plays on that primal fear we all have, the fear of the unknown.
It starts off innocently enough. A group of young guys caught in a sudden storm. They find this old colonial house on the Iberian Peninsula.
Wow.
Deserted for over a century. Talk about atmosphere.
And the story does a great job of setting that scene. It's not just an old house. It's described as having this strange charm.
Okay.
The peculiar smells, the way the shadows play in the stormlight. You can practically feel the suspense building.
Right. And, you know, things are about to take a turn when they discover a hidden basement, a trap door no less.
Really?
And the smell that hits them when they open it.
Oh, yeah. That's bad.
Like rotten eggs. Definitely not a good sign.
Almost like a warning, don't you think?
Yeah.
Even before they find the door, the story makes it clear they're stepping into dangerous territory.
Right.
Their unease grows with every step deeper into the basement.
And then there it is, a door covered in strange symbols with an inscription that just screams trouble.
Oh.
Never open. You have to wonder what kind of person would actually ignore a warning like that.
Well, that's the thing about curiosity, isn't it? It can be a powerful force, especially for a group of young men feeling invincible.
Yeah.
They probably thought it was just an old legend, a spooky story to scare kids.
So, of course, they open the door, and what they find is beyond anything they could have imagined. An infinite void, complete darkness, like staring into the abyss itself.
That's creepy.
It's such a powerful image. And the fact that the door slams shut behind them, trapping them in this impossible space. It's like the story is saying, you wanted the unknown.
Yeah.
Well, here it is.
And just when you think it can't get any worse, an entity emerges from the darkness, wearing a mask with this eerie white smile, unblinking eyes. The description alone is enough to give you chills.
What I find so effective is that the story doesn't explicitly tell us if the entity is evil. It simply exists.
Right.
And that unknown quality is arguably more terrifying than any overt threat.
Yeah, it's that fear of the unimaginable, right?
Right. And the entity's message only adds to the mystery, this is not your place. Not a threat, not an explanation, just a statement of fact delivered in a voice that seems to bypass their ears and go straight to their mind.
Like a declaration of boundaries.
Yeah.
A cosmic rule they've broken just by stepping through that door.
Exactly.
And now they're trapped facing the consequences of their actions.
And those consequences are about to become very real. The entity tells them the door can only be closed from the inside, meaning one of them has to stay behind in that void forever.
Oh my God. Imagine the terror, not just the fear of this unknown entity in this impossible place, but the weight of that choice. Who sacrifices themselves so the others can live?
And it's the young man who opened the door who steps forward. He accepts responsibility for his actions and chooses to stay. It's a heartbreaking moment, but there's also a strange nobility in his sacrifice.
It's a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable fear, we're capable of incredible courage and selflessness. He owns his mistake, and in doing so allows his friends a chance at escape.
And that escape is just as unsettling as everything else they've experienced. They're pushed back through the door back into the mansion. But it's not the same. The eerie atmosphere is gone, replaced by this hollow emptiness.
Wow.
It's like the light was drained out of the house along with their friend.
It's like the house was a conduit, a connection point between our world and whatever lies beyond that door.
Yeah.
And now that connection is severed, leaving behind just a shell, a chilling reminder of what they've lost.
And that feeling of loss is something they carry with them even after they escape. They try to explain what happened, but no one believes them. They're left with this shared trauma, this secret they can't share. And to make matters worse, they constantly feel like something is watching them, even after they've left that house behind.
That's a detail that always gets under my skin. It implies that the entity or whatever force governs that space has a reach that extends beyond that door. It's like they brought something back with them, the darkness that clings to them like a shadow.
The story never explicitly says what happens to the young man who stayed behind.
Yeah.
Is he still trapped in that void, or
That's the brilliance of the story, isn't it?
Right.
It leaves so much unanswered, forcing us to confront our own fears and fill in the blanks with our imagination. What would it be like to be trapped in a place beyond human comprehension, cut off from everything you know and love?
It's a chilling thought. And it makes you wonder, is ignorance truly bliss? Would it be better to never know what lies beyond that door, even if it means living with the fear of the unknown?
And that's a question this story leaves us with, isn't it? Are some things better left undiscovered? Is the pursuit of knowledge always worth the risk? It's a question that has haunted humanity for centuries, hasn't it? The allure of the forbidden, the price of knowledge. This story taps into those primal anxieties in a way that few others can.
It's interesting you bring up the idea of a price, because in many ways, that's exactly what this story is about.
Yeah.
The young men pay a terrible price for their curiosity.
Yeah.
Not just the loss of their friend,
Right.
but the psychological trauma they carry with them.
The story doesn't shy away from that aspect, does it? It would be easy to focus on the fantastical elements, the void, the entity, but it's the lasting impact on the survivors that truly makes this story chilling.
They can't explain what happened. No one believes them.
Yeah.
They're isolated, burdened by this shared secret that they can't fully articulate. It's like they're trapped in a nightmare they can't wake up from.
It's almost like a living embodiment of survivors' guilt, isn't it?
Right.
They escaped, but at what cost? They're haunted not just by the memory of what they saw, but by the knowledge that their friend is still out there trapped in that unimaginable void.
And that constant feeling of being watched, does that suggest they're still connected to that otherworldly realm? That maybe the entity or whatever force is at play can reach across the boundaries of reality?
It's certainly a possibility the story leaves open. And it's a terrifying thought, isn't it? The idea that we might not be as separate from those unknown realms as we'd like to believe. That perhaps there are doors, both literal and metaphorical, that we should never open.
It makes you think about all the urban myths and legends we've heard growing up. Are they just stories, or are they warnings, echoes of something real and dangerous lurking just beyond our perception?
That's the power of these stories, isn't it? They tap into our collective unconscious, our primal fears. They remind us that the world is a much stranger, more mysterious place than we often give it credit for.
And that perhaps there are forces at work that we don't fully understand, forces that might not have our best interests at heart. The entity in this story, for example, it doesn't seem malevolent, not in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But it's clearly powerful.
Yeah.
And its motives are entirely opaque.
It's a reminder that we humans, for all our knowledge and technology, are still very much at the mercy of the unknown. We like to think we're in control, that we can explain everything with science and logic. But then a story like this comes along, and it shakes us to our core, reminding us of just how small and vulnerable we truly are.
It's a humbling experience, to say the least. And it makes you wonder, what's the point of these stories? Why do we tell them? Why do we listen to them if they're only going to make us feel afraid and powerless?
Or perhaps it's because fear in the right doses can be a powerful motivator. It can remind us to be cautious, to respect the unknown, to not take our safety and sanity for granted.
It can also be a source of connection, can't it? Sharing these stories, acknowledging our shared fears, it's a way of saying, you're not alone in this. I'm afraid too.
Exactly. And there's something cathartic about confronting our fears, about exploring them in a safe environment like storytelling. It allows us to process those anxieties, to make sense of the chaos and uncertainty of the world.
And maybe, just maybe, it helps us prepare for those moments when the darkness creeps a little too close, when we find ourselves staring at a door that warns us to stay away.
Perhaps then we'll remember the lessons of these stories, the sacrifices made, the consequences endured. Maybe, just maybe, it will help us make the right choice, the choice that keeps us safe, the choice that keeps the darkness at bay.
It's a chilling thought, but there's also a strange comfort in it, isn't there? Knowing that even in the face of the unknown, we have the power to choose to act to protect ourselves and those we care about.
And that, I believe, is the ultimate message of this story. That even in the darkest of times, hope endures, courage prevails, and the human spirit, no matter how battered or bruised, can find a way to survive, to persevere, to even perhaps find a glimmer of light in the face of the abyss. It's that resilience that makes this story so compelling. We see these young men confronted with the unimaginable force to make impossible choices, and yet they find a way to carry on. They don't succumb to despair or madness. They bear the weight of their experience, forever changed, but still standing.
It's a testament to the human spirit, isn't it? Our capacity for survival, for adaptation, for finding meaning and purpose, even in the face of trauma and loss. This story could have easily descended into a nihilistic spiral, but instead it offers a glimmer of hope, a suggestion that even the darkest encounters can't extinguish the light within us.
Precisely. And that's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels increasingly uncertain and unpredictable. It's a reminder that we have the strength to face our fears, to navigate the unknown, to emerge from even the most harrowing experiences with our humanity intact.
And maybe even stronger in a way. Having stared into the abyss and survived, they now possess a knowledge that few others do. A knowledge of the fragility of reality, of the forces that lie just beyond our perception, and of their own capacity for courage and sacrifice.
It's a burden, to be sure, but also a source of potential strength. They've seen what lies beyond the veil, and they've chosen to live to carry that knowledge forward. They are, in a sense, living proof that hope persists even in the face of the unimaginable.
It makes you wonder, what will they do with that knowledge? Will they try to warn others, to share their story in the hopes of preventing others from making the same mistake? Or will they keep their secret, guarding it closely, knowing that the truth is often too difficult to bear?
That's a question only they can answer, but I suspect their experience will shape their lives in profound ways. They'll likely see the world differently, more aware of the shadows lurking at the edges of our perception, more attuned to the delicate balance between the known and the unknown.
And perhaps that's the ultimate lesson of this chilling tale. That the world is full of doors, we should never open mysteries, we should never seek to unravel. But if we do find ourselves face to face with the unknown, if we do stumble through a door that should have remained closed, we have the strength within us to survive, to learn, and to carry on.
We have the capacity to choose hope over despair, to find meaning in the face of chaos, to emerge from the darkness changed but not broken. And that, in the end, is the most powerful story of all.
We hope you found this exploration of the door that should never have been opened thought-provoking and maybe even a little bit chilling. If you enjoyed this descent into terror and urban myths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this episode a like. Until next time, stay curious, but be careful which doors you choose to open.